Thanks for all the feedback and comments on my video. I want to make a quick recap of my thoughts. This is 5-minute feedback with Javs. Okay, here we go. I love Path of Exile. I've been playing for over 10 years. I think 2 is better in a lot of ways, but I also think there have been a lot of improvements to 1 that they could eventually bring to 2 as well. Of course, it is early access, time where we all paid a minimum of $30 to gain the privilege to play early, test early, give feedback on an unfinished, unbalanced game still in development. We know they're actively fixing bugs and working on performance improvements. So having said all that, most of my critique is for the endgame. I don't think making Path of Exile 2 the same as Path of Exile 1 is the way. It's a new game, they need a fresh experience. So towers are rough. Even with the extra variety tile sets, they're still missing something. They need better design that incentivizes putting in a higher tier map into the device, maybe a unique mechanic, a boss, a league content, something that's special, just to throw some ideas out. Precursors are very limited. You can't really use them until you traverse to the tower, and then you have no control where they hit. It would be better if you could use the precursor with the map or some way to give more agency to the player so they can control what kind of content and what level of difficulty. Right now, if you load up on precursors, you may end up with a couple unfavorable tile sets with tons of content, and then another one with none. So if you change characters, you want to play a different version, different level of content, you can't really switch it up. Path of Exile 1 does it better. You can choose your tile set, you can choose your favorites, you can choose what content you want to add, map to map. You can change it each map if you like. I like the design that gives players more agency, more control. So let's talk about enemy design in the endgame. I think it's too fast. You can't really play around anything. You're going to get one shot or two shot before you can even realize what's going on. The only way you can get out of that is by pumping all of your defense or pumping all of your speed so that you never, or pumping all of your damage, right? So that nothing ever hits you, right? But if they really want mechanics that you need to interact with, then they obviously need to slow the combat down. The enemies need more health skills, need less damage. They need better visuals so players can understand what's about to damage them. So rare enemies, they could be more obvious and visual. Proximal tangibility comes to mind as one that's kind of hard to tell unless you mouse over it. If you're playing controller, good luck. You know, the Arbiter boss fight is a bit fast with a lot of the mechanics. The one-shot mechanics need to be very obvious and very visual so you can move there in time, you know, and know what's about to happen. I actually think checkpoints are good. They should add them to Path of Exile 1. If checkpoints appear when you discover content in a map, then you can choose when to do them. You can finish the boss, you can clear the map, then you can click on your checkpoint, return to the breach, run the breach, click on your checkpoint, run the expedition, etc. However you want to do it, you can choose when to do it if there's checkpoints there next to the content. They could also make a summary of objectives appear on the right side, like the quest view when you find that content. So checkpoint appears, the breach is there, and now it says you have one breach, you know, and you see another breach, a checkpoint appears, you now see you have 2 breaches uncompleted in the map. So after you complete the boss, you can run, you know, you can click on the checkpoint and come back and run it, and it'll give you a summary right there. This helps player quality of life, it's new player friendly, and shows you what's important that you need to complete in your maps to have a map completion. So talking about map completion, there could also be alternatives besides rare boss kills. Last Epoch, for example, has waves. You could have survival. You could have find an item. You could have, you know, how many mobs can you kill in a certain time limit. I'm sure they could come up with lots of different ideas for this. There's league mechanics that somewhat cover this variety in gameplay, but I really think Endgame needs to be fresh, and without taking away the ability to choose your content. So they could have random RNG areas. You know, they have moments of Zen right now. They have the different vaults and stuff like that. They could have more spicy things like this, maybe double bosses, different arenas, stuff like that to switch it up. So real quick quality of life stuff. Obviously, they need affinities for everything: breach, expedition, maps, charms. You know, all the gear slots. Obviously, Last Epoch already has it for all the gear slots, so it'd be great to have it. Boots go into one slot, whatever, right? Also, can we cut gems one time? Do we really need to pick up every single level of gems? Just have them auto level, make it configurable. Path of Exile 1 already has this for controller. And then, of course, my favorite one of all time, the one I've been asking for the last 10 years. Trade inside the game. Trade inside the game. Those are my thoughts. You can catch me on Twitch every Thursday and Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And
the future holds further challenges. Count on it.